Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do two looks for you using the new NARS Ignited Palette. I've already swatched it on my Instagram, so if you want to see those swatches, head over to my Instagram, it'll be in my highlights. Because there's only a couple of matte shades, I might do a daytime look with the matte shades and then kind of amp it up with some of the more shimmery shades. Now there aren't any super dark colours in this palette, would still be kind of like a daytime glam rather than an evening glam. There's nothing really there to smoke it out. This is the darkest shade. You can see it's plummy, but it's not super dark. I asked you a couple of weeks ago on YouTube in a poll what you guys wanted to see, and it was all quite leveled. Two looks with one palette was a tie, so I thought I would do that one first. I also have the new Natasha Denona Bieber palette, so if you guys are interested in seeing maybe two looks with one palette with that, let me know in the comment section below. I've already done my base makeup. I've just put on the same as my last makeup tutorial, so I'm going to jump straight into it. So this is the gorgeous palette up close. As you can see, it's a beautiful array of warm shades. And for this look, I'm going to dip into the three matte shades. I'm going to start off with the first colour, which is a muted peachy shade. And on a flat shader brush, I'm taking that over the mobile lid all the way up to where the eye naturally creases and just feathering it up slightly past that so it fades into the skin. It's a nicely pigmented eyeshadow. It blends really well and it has a really nice consistency. Now I've applied that to both eyes, I'm going in with a clean blending brush and buffing that over the seams of the eyeshadow so it fades away into nothing and so there's no visible transition lines. Now I'm going into the warmest of the two matte brown eyeshadows, and using a small crease brush I'm applying this in the classic C shape. For both these looks I wanted to keep it really easy and simple to achieve. Even if you've got hooded eyes you can still create a C shape, you would just work the C above the fold. If you lack a lot of space between your eyelid and your eyebrow then you would just apply this to the outer third of your mobile lid. I used a very small amount of the eyeshadow and buffed that onto the skin using my small crease brush, and now I'm going in with a fluffy blending brush to buff out the majority of the colour so we get a nice fade. You will lose a lot of the eyeshadow but then we're going to reapply. That's the best way to create that really beautiful seamless gradient. Once you're happy with the blend of your eyeshadow, we're then going to reapply the same colour in the exact same area that we first applied it in that C shape and then buff that out with the blending brush. Reapplying it in the exact area that you first applied it will build up that colour intensity, and then when you blend it out it will fade out to nothing as it reaches the eyebrows. Now we're taking an angled liner brush and dipping it into the two matte brown eyeshadows and mixing them together, and we're going to apply this along the eyelash line. As I'm not going to be applying any liquid eyeliner, I want to smoke out the eyelash line using the same shade that we've used to contour the lid itself. Adding a tiny bit of the muted brown into this will just add a little bit more intensity to that brown. Then taking that same angled liner brush and just the warm brown eyeshadow, I'm working that underneath those lower lashes as close to the root as possible and making sure I connect that with the outer corner of the top lid so it frames the eye. Then I'm going to switch to the very first brush that we used to lay down the first matte eyeshadow, and I'm going to use that to softly buff out that eyeshadow underneath the lower lashes, and then switching that to a blending brush and working around the seams again. Along my waterline I'm applying a brown kohl pencil called Teddy, which is by MAC, and this has a slight shimmery finish to it. I'm also running that very close to the lash line along the very top and then just very softly smoking that out using a cotton bud. This will help to define that lash line, making the root of your eyelashes look thicker and fuller rather than looking like an eyeliner. Then I'm applying a couple of coats of mascara. This one is one of my favourites. It's an expensive one so I hate mentioning it, but it's the one by Christian Louboutin, and as you can see it really does make the world of difference to your lashes. I'm going to pop on a little bit of Bellini Brunch, which is a Bare Minerals Gen Nude blush. This is a matte finish. As you can see it's quite similar to the colour that we've got on the eyes, so we only want a very small amount of that kind of just dusted over the cheek and pulled backwards. And then for lips, I'm also going to use Bare Mineral. These are the Bare Pro lipsticks. These are so pigmented and so comfy to wear. I think I will apply a small amount of spice on the outer edges. So this is a really simple, quick and easy look using two of the matte eyeshadows. I think it's quite a nice monochromatic look. I've just popped in a little bit of Teddy eyeliner. You can pop on a cream colour along the waterline to make your eyes look bigger. So that's my first look using the Ignited palette and I really like it. Okay, so I didn't realise that my camera wasn't filming for this very first part. I've taken the top peachy shade and applied that with my finger to the inner half of the mobile lid. Then I've dipped my finger into the warm coral shade and applied that directly next to it. So really simple. And now we're going in with this pinky plum shade, and using a small crease brush, I'm working that very softly on the outer third of that mobile lid, and I'm going to start to pull it out in a bit more of a V shape rather than a C shape. You can start to see here that I'm creating more of a triangular shape. This is ideal if you have more hooded eyes because you want to pull the colour out more perpendicular to the highest point of your eyelid. This is going to elongate the shape of your eye rather than losing space between your eyelid and your eyebrow. So I've laid down the initial colour and then used a blending brush to soften the seams, and now I'm reapplying the colour with the small crease brush, and then we'll go back in with our clean blending brush and again soften the edges. So that the eye doesn't look odd, we're going to use what's left on the bristles to pull the colour through the socket. This will just give a very subtle tone, so it almost creates a gradient of colour, but we're not taking it higher than the crease. We don't want the eye to lose any space between the lid and the eyebrow. Using my finger, I'm going to dip it into this shimmery shade, which is kind of like a golden pink. It's a very pale shade, but we're just going to use this on the centre of the lid to add a little bit of a highlight to this area. And then again, using my fingers, I'm going to dip into this shimmery shade, which is kind of like a reddy pink, and we're going to apply this to the outer half of the mobile lid. And this is going to create a nice gradient between the kind of plum shade into the deep reddy pink into the pale peachy pink. Then on a small detailer brush, I'm taking the same plummy shade from the outer corner of that top lid down through underneath the lower lash line all the way across to the tear duct. And as I said on my previous look, this really frames the eyes. Much like we did before, we're going to take this darker shade and we're going to smoke out the very top lash line close to the root. Again, this gives the illusion of a fuller lash line because we're not using a liquid eyeliner. I'm going to go black along my waterline using a black kohl pencil. This is the blackest one I own by Zoeva. Then I'm curling my lashes and applying the same mascara. I like to apply one coat of this, let it dry a little bit, then apply a second coat, and as you can see you get the most beautiful long lashes. I've done the eye makeup. I'm going to pop on some Becca and Chrissy Teigen Lip Icing Glow Gloss. I just want to keep the lips quite natural because the eyes have got a really subtle sheen to them. This will just tie the lips in. Very subtle, very natural. I've not popped any eyelashes on and we've not done any eyeliner this week. Sometimes it's just nice to create a look that doesn't have all the elements, and instead we've just played around with the eyeshadow. We have created two different looks, both quite subtle. I wouldn't say it's your everyday eyeshadow palette, although you've got kind of some matte shades that you can wear in the daytime. The shimmer shades, they all kind of favour the pink and peachy tones. I feel like it just needed one more brown eyeshadow, but quite dark, because then you could really take this palette from day to night. I really like it. I don't know whether it would be one that I would reach for very often. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this more subtle and quick approach to the tutorial. All the products will be listed and linked in the description bar. And if you'd like to follow me outside of YouTube, you will find me on Instagram as Show Me Makeup. There you will see swatches of new palettes I get, new products I receive. There you can request if you want to see a product in a tutorial. There I'm a little bit more active on a daily basis. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.